The ancient debris field shouldn't have existed. Chief archaeologist Nira Vedrak stretched her forearms, mandibles clicking in frustration as she studied the holographic reconstruction floating before her. The fragment's atomic dating placed it at over 300 years old, decades before humanity had officially achieved faster-than-light travel. Yet here it was, unmistakably human in design, discovered in the remnants of the Battle of Proxima Centauri, a conflict that predated Earth's official first contact with the Galactic Council by nearly a century. "Run the analysis again," she ordered, her iridescent scales reflecting the soft blue light of the research vessel's laboratory. The ship's AI complied silently, quantum scanners prodding the twisted piece of metal that had appended 6 months of careful excavation work. Her research partner, Dr. Kal, a towering meridian whose crystalline form sparkled under the lab lights, approached with another fragment. "You should see this, Nira." His resonant voice carried an unusual edge of excitement. "The quantum signature. It's unlike anything in our database." Nira took the fragment, her specialized archaeologist's sensors extending from her exoskeleton to analyze the material. The readings made no sense. The metal appeared to exist in a state of quantum uncertainty, as if it had never fully committed to a single timeline. "Impossible," she whispered, but the evidence refused to change. This technology, the humans couldn't have had this. Not 300 years ago. The Council's records show they were barely achieving orbital flight. The Council's records, Ketal's crystalline form, pulsed with amusement, have been wrong before. Before Nira could respond, the ship's AI interrupted. "Chief Vedarax, I've completed the reconstruction of the debris field's dispersal pattern. You may want to see this." The holographic display expanded, filling the laboratory with a 3-dimensional map of the ancient battlefield. Hundreds of fragments, each carefully catalogued over months of painstaking work, began to align themselves according to their original trajectories. "That's not a debris field from a destroyed ship," Ketal observed, his crystalline body dimming slightly in shock. "Those are weapon impacts." "But there's no target," Nira finished. "The shots hit nothing. Or rather, she manipulated the hologram, focusing on the strange quantum signatures they detected. They hit something that wasn't entirely there." The implication sent a shiver through her scales. The Battle of Proxima Centauri was famous in archaeological circles, the mysterious defeat of the Drachnid expansion fleet that had prevented them from reaching Earth. Historical records claimed the Drachnids had retreated after encountering unexpected stellar phenomena. But this, "We need to expand the search grid," Nira decided. "If we're right about this, we're not just looking at an ancient battle site. We're looking at evidence of a cover-up that spans centuries." Over the next 3 weeks, Nira's team uncovered more fragments, each bearing the same impossible quantum signatures. But it was the discovery in Sector 7 that changed everything. "Chief." The call came from one of her junior archaeologists, a young sylphid named Ven. "We found something intact." The object was small, barely larger than Nira's palm. Unlike the other fragments, this one had survived relatively unscathed. As she held it, her sensors detected an active power signature. "It's some kind of recording device," Ketal analyzed, his crystalline form extending sensory tendrils toward the object. "And it's still functional." In 3 centuries of archaeological work, Nira had never seen ancient human technology in working condition. Their early attempts at space travel had been notoriously crude, with most artifacts deteriorating beyond recovery. With careful precision, they connected the device to their ship's systems, using quantum isolation fields to prevent any potential damage. The holographic display flickered to life, and Nira felt her heart skip a beat. The recording showed a massive starship, its design unlike anything in historical records. It seemed to flicker in and out of existence, appearing in multiple locations simultaneously. The Drachnid weapons fired repeatedly, but they couldn't lock onto something that refused to exist in a single point in spacetime. "By the first stars," Ketal whispered, his crystalline form pulsing with intense light. They had quantum phase technology, before first contact, before everything. Not just that, Nira pointed to the ship's markings. Look at the designation. The enhancement showed a simple identifier, EDF-001, Earth Defense Force. Nira translated. Number 1. This wasn't just an advanced ship. This was their first. The recording continued, showing more ships appearing, or rather, revealing themselves. The Drachnid fleet, one of the most powerful forces in that era of space, turned and fled. The history books say the Drachnids retreated because of stellar anomalies. Cuttle mused. I suppose, technically, they weren't lying. Nira stared at the footage, her archaeological training warring with the implications of their discovery. This changes everything we thought we knew about human technological development. But why hide it? Why maintain the facade of being technological newcomers to the galactic stage? The answer came from an unexpected source. As they studied the recording device further, they found an encrypted message buried deep in its quantum matrix. When decoded, it contained only a few words. The best defense is the enemy's imagination. Of course, Nira's mandibles clicked in sudden understanding. If you show your full strength, enemies adapt, develop countermeasures. But if you hide it, every potential aggressor has to wonder. Cuttle finished. Has to question whether they're seeing everything, or if there's a ghost fleet watching from the quantum shadows. Nira looked at the artifact in her hands, then at the debris field beyond their ship's viewport. 300 years of carefully maintained secrets, of letting the galaxy believe humanity was just lucky or protected by natural phenomena. How many other battles had been prevented not by the presence of these ghost ships, but by the mere possibility of their existence? We need to decide, Cuttle said quietly, what to do with this information. Nira considered the implications. Publishing their findings would upend centuries of historical understanding, potentially destabilizing diplomatic relations throughout the galaxy. But burying the truth went against everything she believed as an archaeologist. Before she could respond, their ship's sensors detected a quantum disturbance. On the main viewport, space itself seemed to ripple, and for just a moment, Nira caught a glimpse of something that both was and wasn't there. A massive vessel, bearing the same markings as the ship in their ancient recording. When she looked again, it was gone. But the message was clear. Some secrets were kept not to deceive, but to preserve peace. And sometimes, the most powerful fleet was the one that existed in the realm of possibility, haunting the dreams of any who might consider aggression. Prepare for return to base, she ordered, securing the recording device, and mark this site for additional study. She paused, then added with a slight click of amusement, due to unusual stellar phenomena. Of course. Cuttle's crystalline form sparkled with understanding. After all, sometimes the best way to preserve peace was to let everyone wonder what lurked in the quantum shadows between the stars. Dr. Elena Santos stood before the massive quantum reactor, its pulsing core casting strange shadows across the underground facility. 300 meters beneath the Pacific Ocean, Hidden Horizon Base had been humanity's best-kept secret for the past decade. Now, it might become their last hope. Core containment at 98%, her AI assistant, AIA, reported. Quantum field stability exceeding expected parameters. Elena barely heard the report, her attention fixed on the deep space telemetry streaming across her augmented reality display. The objects approaching the outer solar system weren't natural, and they weren't friendly. First contact was coming, but not the way anyone had hoped. Dr. Santos, Director Chen's voice carried the weight of command as he entered the quantum lab. The Security Council has moved up our timeline. We need the quantum veil operational within 48 hours. Elena turned to face him, hiding her shock behind years of professional discipline. Sir, we've barely begun testing the field projectors. The mathematical models suggest. The models don't matter anymore. Chen gestured, and a classified feed appeared in their shared AR space. Long-range sensors have identified the approaching fleet. They're Drachnid warships, Doctor. At least 30 capital-class vessels. The name sent a chill through Elena. Everyone knew about the Drachnids from intercepted alien communications. They were one of the oldest spacefaring races, with a reputation for uplifting younger species through forced subjugation. "Show me the latest test results," Chen demanded. Elena pulled up the data from their most recent quantum phasing experiment. The prototype vessel, little more than a shuttle, flickered in the recording as the quantum field enveloped it. For brief moments, it existed in multiple states simultaneously, becoming virtually impossible to track or target. "We can maintain quantum uncertainty for 73 seconds, she explained. "After that, the field collapses and needs 12 minutes to recharge. It's not ready for combat conditions." Chen studied the data, his expression unreadable. "What about the breakthrough your team reported last week? The recursive quantum loop?" Elena hesitated. That project was theoretical, barely beyond the mathematical modeling stage. The calculations suggest we could extend the field indefinitely by feeding the quantum uncertainty back into itself. But the power requirements are now irrelevant, Chen finished. "Whatever it takes, Doctor. We need a working prototype before those ships reach Mars." After Chen left, Elena gathered her core team. Dr. James Chen, no relation to the director, their quantum mechanics expert, and Dr. Sarah O'Neill, who had pioneered the recursive field mathematics, looked as exhausted as she felt. "They're really coming," Sarah whispered, staring at the sensor data. "All those years of preparing, hoping we were wrong." "We weren't wrong," James interrupted, pulling up their original calculations. "The quantum signatures we detected 15 years ago were proof. Advanced civilizations existed out there, and sooner or later, they'd find us. That's why we built this place." Elena nodded, remembering the day they'd first detected the anomalous quantum readings. Strange patterns in space-time that suggested something, was using quantum mechanics in ways humanity had never imagined. Those discoveries had led to the quantum phasing project. And now, "Araya," she commanded, "initiate full simulation of the recursive quantum loop. Remove all safety protocols. Show me what happens if we push it to theoretical limits." The AI compiled the simulation, and the results appeared in their shared workspace. The mathematics were beautiful in their complexity, a perfect loop of quantum uncertainty, feeding back into itself endlessly. "There," Sarah pointed to a particular equation. "If we modify the field harmonics to match the natural quantum fluctuations we detected in those original signals, the power requirements would drop by 60%. James finished, already running the calculations. "The field wouldn't just make the ship uncertain. It would tap into the underlying quantum nature of space-time itself." Elena felt a familiar excitement building, the same feeling that had driven her team to push the boundaries of known physics. "How quickly can we modify the prototype?" The next 40 hours passed in a blur of activity. The entire facility operated at maximum capacity as they rebuilt the quantum core to accommodate the new design. Elena couldn't remember when she'd last slept, running on stimulants and determination. "Field initialization in 10 seconds, Araya announced. Through the reinforced observation window, Elena watched as the prototype vessel, now dubbed Phantom, sat in the massive testing chamber. If this worked, they would have created something unprecedented, a ship that could choose its own quantum state at will. 5 seconds. James and Sarah stood beside her, their faces reflecting the same mix of hope and fear she felt. Field active. The Phantom didn't disappear. It didn't flicker like in previous tests. Instead, it seemed to become more real, as if it existed in every possible state simultaneously. The sensor readings were off the charts, showing the ship occupying multiple positions in spacetime, each one equally valid. Power consumption at 20% of projected requirements, Araya reported. Field stability at 99.8%. No signs of degradation. Elena checked the chronometer. 2 minutes passed, then 5, then 10. The field held. "We did it," Sarah breathed. "It actually works." Before they could celebrate, Director Chen's voice came over the comm. "Dr. Santos, you need to see this." A new feed appeared in their AR displays. The Drachnid fleet had changed course, moving faster than expected. They would reach the solar system in less than 12 hours. "How quickly can we scale this up?" Chen asked. "The Security Council is asking about fleet-wide deployment." Elena looked at her team, saw the same determination in their eyes that she felt. "Give us 6 hours. We'll have the specifications ready for mass production." As her team rushed to prepare the technical documentation, Elena took a moment to study the Phantom. In creating a defense against invasion, they had stumbled upon something far more profound. The quantum veil wouldn't just protect Earth, it would change the very nature of space warfare. No longer would conflicts be decided by who had the biggest guns or the strongest shields. Now the advantage would go to those who could master uncertainty itself. And humanity, through necessity and innovation, had gotten there first. "Begin production of the quantum cores," she ordered, "and send word to the orbital shipyards. Tell them to prepare for immediate retrofitting of the defense fleet." The race against time had begun. But for the first time since detecting those mysterious quantum signatures years ago, Elena felt true hope. Humanity wouldn't just survive first contact, they would rewrite the rules of engagement for the entire galaxy. Captain Maya Chen checked the quantum field readings one final time as the EDF Shadow Weaver prepared for its first real combat deployment. The massive vessel, first of the true Ghost Fleet, hummed with barely contained power as its quantum core maintained the ship in a state of perpetual uncertainty. "All systems nominal," her XO, Commander David Rodriguez, reported from his station. "Quantum field stable at 99%. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Maya nodded, trying to project confidence she didn't entirely feel. The Shadow Weaver represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a warship that could exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously, impossible to target or track. But today would be its first true test. "Status of the Drachnid fleet?" she asked. The tactical display showed 37 Drachnid warships approaching Mars orbit. They had ignored all attempts at communication, their intention clear: subjugate Earth and add humanity to their growing empire of protected species. "They're maintaining attack formation," Lieutenant Sarah Watson reported from sensors. "Energy readings suggest weapon systems are charging. They'll be in range of the Mars colonies in 17 minutes. Maya took a deep breath. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. Initialize quantum combat protocols. Prepare for phase shift on my mark. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, each member knowing their role in the complicated dance they were about to perform. The quantum core's hum deepened as power built in the systems. "Captain," Rodriguez said quietly, "remember what Dr. Santos said. We don't have to beat them. We just have to make them question everything they think they know about us." Maya smiled. Her mother Elena's words had become something of a mantra among the Ghost Fleet crews. The greatest weapon is uncertainty itself. Phase shift in 3, 2, 1, mark. Reality twisted around the Shadow Weaver as the quantum field reached full power. Maya felt the strange sensation she'd never quite gotten used to. The feeling of existing everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. On the tactical display, her sensor signature split into dozens of possible positions, each equally real and equally false. "Ghost protocol active," Rodriguez confirmed. "We are quantum invisible." The Drachnid fleet continued their advance, unaware that Earth's defense consisted of more than the handful of conventional ships they could detect. The Shadow Weaver moved through space like a quantum ghost, its position impossible to pin down as it approached the alien armada. "Begin Operation Phantom Echo," Maya ordered. Across the solar system, other Ghost Fleet vessels activated their quantum fields. The Spectre, the Wraith, the Penumbra, each ship phasing into quantum uncertainty, creating a web of possibility around the invading force. "Ma'am," Watson called out, excitement in her voice. We're detecting quantum echoes from the other ships. The harmonic resonance is exactly as Dr. Santos predicted. The quantum cores of each Ghost Fleet vessel resonated with each other, amplifying the field of uncertainty. To any conventional sensors, it would appear as if space itself was becoming unstable around the Drachnid fleet. "They're detecting something," Rodriguez reported, watching the alien ship's reactions. "Their formation is tightening. Energy readings suggest they're boosting their shields." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Deploy quantum probes. Let's give them something to think about." The probes, tiny devices that could maintain their own quantum fields, launched from the Shadow Weaver's bays. As they approached the Drachnid ships, they began their programmed sequence of quantum shifts, appearing and disappearing at precise intervals. "Drachnid vessels are attempting to lock weapons," Watson announced. "No success. Their targeting systems can't resolve our quantum signature." The alien fleet's advance slowed as their sensors detected more and more anomalies. Space seemed to ripple around them as the Ghost Fleet's quantum fields interacted with natural spacetime. "They're launching fighters," Rodriguez observed, "trying to get visual confirmation of what they're dealing with." "Perfect," Maya said. "Execute Phase 2. The Shadow Weaver's quantum field shifted to a new configuration, one that allowed it to partially materialize. For just a moment, the massive Earth vessel became visible to the Drachnid fighters, a sleek, dark shape that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. "Fighter squadrons are breaking formation," Watson reported. "Their comm channels are exploding with chatter." Translating now. The alien communications painted a picture of confusion and growing alarm. Reports of impossible ships, of weapons that couldn't lock on targets, of space itself seeming to reject their presence. "Drachnid capital ships are powering up their main drives," Rodriguez announced. "They're adjusting their heading. They're turning around." Maya watched as the alien fleet began a rapid withdrawal, their carefully planned invasion dissolving in the face of something they couldn't understand or fight. No shots fired, no direct confrontation, just the power of uncertainty doing its work. "Send the message," she ordered. A simple transmission, broadcast on all frequencies in the Drachnid language. "The solar system is protected. Further incursions will be met with less restraint." As the alien ships accelerated away from Earth, Maya thought about what this moment meant. The Ghost Fleet had proven itself not just as a defense force, but as a completely new way of thinking about space warfare. They had defeated one of the galaxy's most powerful military forces without firing a single shot. "Stand down quantum combat protocols," she ordered. "Maintain surveillance position." The Shadow Weaver's quantum field adjusted, maintaining their invisibility while requiring less power. Around the solar system, the other Ghost Fleet vessels did the same, creating an invisible web of protection around humanity's home. "Send word to command," Maya said. "Operation Phantom Echo successful. The Ghost Fleet is operational." As her crew began their after-action reports, Maya pulled up an image her mother had sent her before the mission. The original calculations that had led to the quantum drive's creation. In trying to defend themselves, humanity had stumbled upon something that would change the galaxy forever. The age of conventional warfare was over. The era of quantum uncertainty had begun, and humanity had written its first chapter. Dr. Sarah O'Neill stared at the quantum signal analysis scrolling across her lab's holographic display, her eyes burning from hours of intense focus. After 5 years of leading the Ghost Fleet's quantum research division, she had thought nothing could surprise her anymore. She was wrong. "Run it again, HFY," she commanded. "Full spectrum analysis. Correlate with all historical readings." The AI compiled the data, and the pattern emerged once more, unmistakable and impossible to ignore. The quantum signatures they detected during the Shadow Weaver's last patrol weren't random anomalies. They were messages. "Dr. O'Neill," HFY's calm voice interrupted her thoughts. "Director Santos is requesting your presence in the quantum core chamber." Sarah gathered her data and hurried through Hidden Horizon Base's underground corridors. Elena Santos, now director of the Ghost Fleet Research Division, waited by the massive quantum core that powered their research facility. "You found something," Elena said. It wasn't a question. Sarah projected her findings into the shared holographic space. "Look at these patterns, the quantum fluctuations we detected near the Carina Nebula. They're not natural phenomena. They're encoded information, using quantum states as a carrier signal." Elena studied the data, her expression growing more serious. "Like the signals we detected 15 years ago. The ones that led to the quantum drive's development. Similar, but more complex." Sarah manipulated the hologram, highlighting specific patterns. "These aren't just random quantum echoes. They're organized, structured. Someone, or something, is using quantum spacetime itself as a communication medium. Have you decoded any of it?" Sarah nodded, pulling up her preliminary analysis. "Parts of it. The mathematics are elegant. Whoever created this system understood quantum mechanics on a level we're only beginning to grasp. But the content..." She hesitated. "Show me," Elena insisted. The decoded segments appeared in the hologram. Star charts, quantum equations, and something else. Patterns that seemed to describe massive objects moving through spacetime. "They're warning us," Sarah said quietly. "These messages, they're about something coming. Something that makes our quantum drive look like primitive technology." Before Elena could respond, an alert sounded throughout the facility. Captain Maya Chen's holographic form materialized in their workspace, her expression urgent. "Mother, Dr. O'Neill, you need to see this. The Shadow Weaver just detected multiple quantum disturbances at the edge of the solar system. They're unlike anything we've encountered before." The tactical display showed dozens of quantum signatures, each one more powerful than anything the Ghost Fleet could generate. They moved with purpose, following paths that matched the patterns in the ancient messages. "How long?" Elena asked. "I don't think so." Sarah highlighted specific patterns in the data. "These messages, they're not from the architects. They're warnings about them. Someone has been trying to prepare younger races for their return." The facility's quantum core pulsed with unusual energy as more data poured in from the Ghost Fleet's sensors. The approaching objects had begun manipulating spacetime around themselves, creating distortions that made conventional observation impossible. "Look at this," Sarah pointed to new readings. "The quantum distortions, they're identical to patterns we found in that debris field near Proxima Centauri. The one that supposedly predated our quantum technology." Elena's eyes widened with understanding. "We didn't develop this technology first. We weren't even the first to use it in this part of space. Those ancient battles were fought with quantum technology far more advanced than ours," Sarah finished. "And now something is coming that even those advanced civilizations feared." Emergency alerts flashed across their displays as the approaching objects accelerated, their quantum signatures growing stronger. The Ghost Fleet moved to intercept, but their quantum fields flickered uncertainly in the presence of the massive distortions. "Whatever's coming," Sarah said, studying the ancient warnings, "it's what the quantum messages have been preparing us for. All our work with the Ghost Fleet, our mastery of quantum uncertainty, it wasn't just about defending Earth. It was about preparing us for this moment." Elena stared at the tactical display, watching as humanity's greatest technological achievement faced something that made it look primitive by comparison. "Then we better make sure we were good students, because I have a feeling we're about to be tested in ways we never imagined." The quantum core's pulse quickened as more data poured in, each new reading confirming what the ancient messages had tried to tell them. The game they'd been playing with quantum uncertainty was about to become far more complex, and the stakes had just become galactic in scale. The Shadow Weaver's quantum core pulsed with unstable energy as Captain Maya Chen watched the impossible unfold on her tactical display. The approaching vessels, if they could even be called that, existed in so many quantum states simultaneously that they appeared as storms of probability, each one large enough to engulf a planet. All Ghost Fleet vessels reporting similar quantum interference, Commander Rodriguez announced. his voice tense. Our phase fields are becoming unstable whenever we approach within 10,000 kilometers of the objects. Maya studied the sensor readings, remembering her mother's words about the ancient quantum messages. They're not trying to disable our quantum fields, she realized. They're trying to communicate through them. Captain, Lieutenant Watson called from her station. I'm detecting a coherent pattern in the quantum interference. It's similar to the encoded messages Dr. O'Neill discovered, but far more complex. Before Maya could respond, reality twisted around them. The Shadow Weaver's quantum field, instead of maintaining their state of uncertainty, synchronized with the massive distortions. For a moment, Maya experienced existence from 1,000 perspectives simultaneously. This is a test, she whispered, understanding flooding through her quantum-enhanced consciousness. They're not attacking. They're evaluating. Through the quantum connection, she sensed other Ghost Fleet ships experiencing the same phenomenon. The ancient entities weren't interested in their weapons or defenses. They wanted to know if humanity had truly grasped the implications of quantum technology. Deep within Hidden Horizon Base, Sarah O'Neill and Elena Santos worked frantically to understand the massive influx of quantum data. The base's core pulsed with unprecedented energy as it processed information that challenged their understanding of reality itself. It's not just communication, Sarah explained, her hands dancing through holographic equations. They're showing us how to extend our quantum field technology. Look at these patterns. They are teaching us. Elena studied the incoming data with growing excitement. The ancient messages weren't just warnings. They were preparation for this moment. The quantum architects aren't returning to conquer. They're looking for successors. Throughout the solar system, the Ghost Fleet vessels began adapting their quantum fields to match the patterns being transmitted. Each ship became a node in a vast quantum network, connecting consciousness and technology in ways their creators had never imagined. All ships, this is Captain Chen, Maya broadcast to the fleet. Synchronize your quantum cores with these new patterns. Don't fight the interference. Learn from it. The massive quantum storms surrounding Earth pulsed with approval as humanity demonstrated their ability to adapt and understand. Through the quantum network, Maya glimpsed fragments of an ancient history, civilizations rising and falling across billions of years, each one tested for their worthiness to join a galaxy-spanning community of quantum-aware beings. In her lab, Sarah decoded more of the quantum transmissions, understanding flowing through her enhanced consciousness. They seeded this technology throughout the galaxy, she explained to Elena. Different races discovered it in different ways, but only those who used it wisely were contacted. The Ghost Fleet, Elena realized. We never used it for conquest. We used it to prevent conflict, to protect without destroying. That's why they chose now to reveal themselves. The quantum storms began to coalesce, taking forms that human minds could better comprehend. Through the quantum network, they shared their true purpose. They were the guardians of a galaxy-spanning civilization that existed primarily in quantum space, where consciousness and technology merged into something greater than either. They're offering us membership, Maya reported from the Shadow Weaver, her voice filled with awe. Not just to humanity, but to any race that proves worthy. The Ghost Fleet wasn't just our defense, it was our audition. The quantum architects shared their vision through the network. A galaxy where advanced civilizations learn to exist in harmony, using their mastery of quantum mechanics not for warfare, but for exploration and growth. The Ghost Fleet's approach to quantum technology had demonstrated humanity's potential to join this greater community. Throughout the solar system, quantum cores adjusted to new frequencies as humanity's ships began to truly understand their technology's potential. The Ghost Fleet's ability to exist in quantum uncertainty had been just the beginning. The architects showed them glimpses of technologies that could reshape reality itself, but only for those who proved they would use such power wisely. Captain, Rodriguez called out, we're receiving quantum transmissions from everywhere. Other races who developed similar technology, who made the same choices we did. They're revealing themselves. Maya watched in amazement as quantum signatures appeared throughout the galaxy, each one representing a civilization that had passed the same test. The Ghost Fleet had never been alone in its vigilance. They had been part of a greater design, preparing humanity for this moment. In Hidden Horizon Base, Alina and Sarah worked to integrate the new quantum protocols into Earth's defense network. The Architect's technology would transform human civilization, but the changes would come gradually, ensuring they maintained their wisdom along with their power. We thought we were being clever, Alina mused, watching the quantum network expand. Creating a fleet that could exist in quantum uncertainty, using the fear of the unknown as our defense. But we were following a path laid out ages ago, proving ourselves worthy of something greater. The quantum architect's final message resonated through the network. The age of separation was ending. Those civilizations that had proven themselves would join a community that existed across multiple planes of reality, working together to guide younger races toward the same understanding. Maya looked out at the quantum storms that had become gateways to a larger universe. The Ghost Fleet had succeeded beyond its creator's wildest dreams, not by winning battles, but by showing humanity's capacity for wisdom and restraint. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The Ghost Fleet has completed its original mission. Now we begin a new one, not as phantoms that haunt the darkness between stars, but as guides for those who might follow our path." As the quantum network stabilized, humanity stood on the brink of a new era. The Ghost Fleet would continue its vigilance, but now with a greater purpose, to show other races that the path to the stars led not through conquest, but through understanding. The quantum shadows had revealed their final secret. They had never been about hiding, but about preparing humanity for the moment when they would step into the light.